Coming live from the planet of Brooklyn, it is the Mantastic Experience. I am Mr. GP, and I need you to know that lemon pepper wings are overrated. As usual, I am joined by Professor G. He's here to kick the knowledge and let you know what you need to know. Always, we are joined by Miss Minga, because she's got to bring us the female point of view that we all need. And as always, we got C Squared. He helps us get our pockets right and get our minds right too. So Professor G, I understand you got something for us. What you got, bro?
I'm here to present to you. It's all about the roles and understanding the kind of person you are and the kind of person you need. And it's true. Opposites attract. Generally, an alpha male or alpha female is a little bit more aggressive. Some may take this aggressive as decisiveness. Some may take the decisiveness as being independent, sometimes stubborn. While if you have a beta male, a beta female, they may come off as a little bit indecisive, but also they may come off as more caring or more thoughtful. So you have positives and negatives with both. But if you don't know your role, that's when things get messed up. And you have some alpha females who want alpha males. That doesn't usually work out. Usually you want like a alpha female with a beta male. Sometimes a woman has to lead, and vice versa.
It's really about who's in control all the time. Like if you're an alpha, you want to be in control all the time. A good relationship doesn't necessarily work like that.
Now, I think alpha males get a bad reputation. Right. With all this terminology, and there's a lot of positive. If we're talking about the animal kingdom and you talk about like an alpha or like a silverback gorilla, yeah, he's going to want to be in charge. He's 300 pounds.
Really? Five black people want to talk about gorillas? That's what we do.
This is going somewhere.
Okay.
Wait for the connection. It's coming. Right. If this is the animal kingdom, may be true. But it's not an animal kingdom. And that's the part why we have to grow and mature. And you have to know when it's time to lead. Just because you're an alpha doesn't mean you're leading all the time. It might mean you might throw the ideas out there first. And then you chop it up with your lady and figure out which way you want to go with it. And vice versa. Miss Minga, what do you think?
Both people need to know what their roles are possibly prior to the situation. And it might change. It's not, it may be flexible.
Yeah, if somebody, knows more about something than somebody else, for example, I'm not big on traveling. I figure I got everything I got right here in New York. Everybody's trying to get over here. I don't need to get to where you are. You barely got electricity. But the point is, when you come over here, I'm going to follow you. Well, when you come over here, you're going to follow me. If I go to your side, I'm going to follow you. So sometimes it's just who fits the shoe best.
I don't know what vacations you going on that where they don't got electricity.
So let me ask you this: you both you're laying up in bed with your wife, with your lady. You hear the noise, she hears the noise.
Yeah.
Right. You're getting ready to get up.
Yeah.
And what if she's like, "No, I got it," and she just gets up, she makes a dart for the door.
No, it's not. It's not happening because, and I can give you different scenarios. Because I am the human shield. I am the one laying my life on the line if necessary. So if there's a fire in the house, I should not be the first one out. It will not be cool. Hey, honey, I'm going to hit the door. You get the kids.
What I'm saying is you may... talking to the young men, right? The young men that we're talking to, they may be like, hey, this is my role and responsibility. I'm getting ready to get up and go handle this business. Yeah. But they may get sat down by their partner who's like, I got it.
Wait a second. Fellas. We can solve this real easy. And that's why Miss Minga's here.
All right.
Because we can get into our whole man thing. So, have you seen Titanic?
Yes.
DiCaprio and all that?
Yes.
The other girl. Is the man supposed to let you lay on the door and he's just in the water? Or does he get a turn on the door?
What the hell are you talking about?
You gotta let me lay on it and bye.
Bro, he pulled in a movie from 25 years ago.
25
so
years.
Nobody's saying
Wait a minute. We're giving a message to young men, and he pulled out a movie from 25 years ago. What?
All right, fine.
Bravo.
You might as well start talking about Gilligan's Island.
Miss Ming, I'm gonna ask you a serious question. You're on a date.
A serious question or a serial question? Go ahead.
You know what? If you ain't having Nick's hat on right now.
Me being on a date is a science fiction story.
Okay, so you're on a date on Mars, right? And then, so you're on a date. You're dressed to the best. He's dressed to his best. You're driving somewhere. Tire gets a flat. Who changes that tire? You or the man?
The man.
Tell him how insulted you are that he even asked that question.
Nah, we try to get it for the youth. We got to let them understand why. So let's make a break down why.
Okay, the man changes the tire.
And the reason why,
and the discussion.
The reason why is because the grunt work, the life risking activities are usually done by gentlemen. And not that women can't do it. And sure, you have women who are very good with firearms, women who are good with martial arts and who can truly defend themselves. But me personally, as an old school dude, I'd be damned if my wife is out there, doing all kind of boxing and UFC moves, and I'm standing on the sideline saying, "Go, honey, you got this." And then some guys think that's okay. I was at the gym, get ready for a gym story. I walk up to the squat rack. There's a couple using the squat rack, and I'm just asking, how many sets you got left? The woman turns around, looks me up and down, obviously annoyed, and she said, 2 more. And I look over at the dude she's with, and he kind of just squirms away quickly like, I ain't got nothing to do with this. And I'm like, nah, bro, we should have had a conversation about what's going on
different thing, with your lady. Get real offended if you ask him about a machine. I don't understand.
Bro, were you trying to tell him he needed to get his lady under control?
Like, I tried to give him a look. I tried to give her dude a look like, why is she raising up on me? And he just squirmed away like, I want no parts of it. So he's already been disciplined. He's already been,
when he ran away, did he make a noise like, ooh?
He's been.
If I could just sum it up, life is like a deck of cards. Sometimes you got to play the hand you're dealt. And I think that's what ultimately we're all saying in a sense. So, sometimes you get a good hand, sometimes you don't. You got to play it out. I also want to shout out C Square because he threw in a Sun Tzu Art of War reference. We're going to come back to books that men should read too. You got to get up on your books, but we're going to leave this conversation here for right now. I was speaking to Miss Minga. She told me some of you guys out here, y'all look whack. You dressed busted. Look like Urkel met Homie the Clown. So she said, can we get y'all some help? I said, of course we can get y'all some help. So we got my mans, Smooth E. Help these brothers look right out here.
Yeah.
What up?
Let's hold the applause because that was great. Wonderful. All right, Smooth E, what you got for them?
Like I said, I tell people, style is about, expressing yourself, how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be true to yourself, number one. Don't go with the trends. Buy what you like, wear what you like. You know what I'm saying? You could ball in the budget. You ain't got to go super high end. You can find things on a budget, nice pieces. You put things together, this, that, and the third. You make it right. You know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to be comfortable, but I also wanted to be creative, show my creative side. And, just be bold in some of my pieces. Give a little artsy feel to it, all right? So on the feet, you got the Jordan 1s that I got obviously from Nike. Some cargo pants from Black Taylor. Got like a sweater shirt from Minimal. The t-shirt is Basquiat. So I think my wife just Googled Basquiat tees and just pull whatever one. You could get that online easy. And for the scarf, I think that's from Denim and Supply. They don't make Denim and Supply no more. I got that from Macy's like 10, 12 years ago. And on the head, just got a regular little Nike beanie. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep my head warm, whatever. You may not need it. Depending on the weather. We'll see. But I just want to be comfortable, and I just want it to be like, what I'm saying, like somebody will look at me and be like, all right, so he put some thought into his outfit.
Smooth, you came with 2 looks. Tell us what's the difference between this look and the first look.
All right, so what's going on here is, I'm getting a haircut, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm just getting ready for the night, getting ready for the vibe. So that was a birthday type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to, do it grown and sexy. Stepping out to a steakhouse. So, you got to elevate your style a little bit, be a little bit more upscale, for lack of a better term. So, I was doing it with the Chelsea boots. Had the Chelsea boots on, polo Chelsea boots. For the pants, what's that? That's corduroy pants from Polo. Got the polo turtleneck, cotton. And it's a jacket I got from ASOS. It gave me like a 70s type of vibe, grown man, but old school grown man type of thing. I wanted to give off like a classic type look. So definitely came with the monochrome, like different shades of brown and like to kind of like play with it, whatever. And with the gentleman's hat.
What did both of those run you? Even though I know you say you ain't buying them at the same time, but like, what's that? What did that look like?
Okay, I'm definitely a proponent for like, looking for sales. I'm definitely all about the sales. I don't like paying full price for nothing. So, I'm all for, trying to get the coupons, waiting for the holiday sales when everything is like 30% off, 25% off, 40% off.
I don't know. Mr. GP might ask you for a receipt next. He's really interested in your pockets.
Listen, I mean, I'm gonna look at your tax returns, but
do you want him to buy you an outfit? Because we
maybe I was gonna ask him to style my Harry Potter shirt, but we ain't got time for all of that. We'll come with that next time. I'm loving
it, bro.
So look, we're gonna close it out there. Smooth V, we appreciate your time. I think the moral of this message is you can look good. You don't got to break the bank. Smooth V, appreciate it. By the way, no, tell us where can people find you at, Smooth V?
Yes.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at Smooth V. SMOOVE_E. So, you want to shoot me a DM, whatever, pick my brain about something, show me a look, ask me what I think about it. I'd be happy to, have that conversation.
Hey, there you go. Hit up Smooth V. That's a topic that's very personal to me. I will say this, that I'm a person that's been overweight my whole life. Basically since about 4 or 5 years old. I was an overweight kid. I was an overweight teen. I've been an overweight adult. One thing about that I think a lot of people don't recognize is that being overweight is a challenge when you try to change the things that you do. I've lost weight 1,000,000 times in my life. Not literally, but many times in my life. So I want to do this journey. So I'm about to start a journey where I'm going to consciously lose as much weight as I possibly can. So let me take a step back. Right now, I weigh 290 pounds. I'm in my mid-40s. That's a health risk. No matter what anybody else tells you, it's a health risk. I have a goal to get down to 200 pounds. So basically, I'm going to lose 90 pounds. I'm not going to say in the next year, 2 years. I'm just going to lose 90 pounds. It takes a certain amount of dedication to do that. I don't know if everybody really understands what goes into that. If you're a person who's been fit your whole life, I don't know if you really understand the dedication it takes for that, the change that's needed for that. So this is something that I want to do that's personal to me. I'm sure it's personal to a lot of other people. Another caveat.
I like to say something. Let me jump in there.
Go ahead,
Mr. GP. First, I'd like to hand you a digital tissue. I don't want you to drop too many tears on the camera there. But I didn't know I was
crying, but go ahead.
But I also like to say thank you for sharing, because I'm sure a lot of people can identify with that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, what's the most you ever lost?
I've lost 50 pounds at one time.
Okay. Okay. And then what happened?
It's possible.
So you just went back?
So I'll tell you this. The time I lost 50 pounds, my brother had just passed away from cancer. This was just before the COVID pandemic had hit. And I was about the weight I am now. So I was about 290, 295. And that happened. It was just like, I was just in a bad mental place. And I was just like, I need to get in a good mental spot. And the way I did that was I started going to the gym. I was just working out a lot of anger at that time, just taking that frustration of losing somebody and just putting it into the gym. Then COVID hit. Gyms closed. But I was liking the feeling, just relieving that stress. So I started going to a park, just walking, doing workouts. I got resistant bands. I was just doing the whole thing. And I lost, like I said, I lost 50 pounds. I was looking good. I was feeling good. Then came about that Thanksgiving, my uncle passed. And it was just like from my brother to COVID to lockdowns. Now my uncle, I just didn't have any more energy. Just went into the house, didn't want to come out. There's probably some depression. We probably all dealt with that.
Obviously, it takes some boldness, some confidence, and some vulnerability for you to share this, for you to put it out there. But also, what I know you're also doing is you're inviting some accountability from all of us on the podcast. Those that are our viewers, as an audience, we're all going to be on this journey now with you, which is really powerful, man. So listen, I support you, bro. And we got your back.
That's right. I will be smacking food out of your hand, and only because I care.
What I feel is a lot of diet coaching comes from people that's already in shape, and a person that's overweight doesn't feel they can relate to that. One thing that I think happens a lot is somebody will be like, get on a treadmill and run for 10 minutes. And my personal thing to them would be like, if I could run for 10 minutes, I wouldn't look like this. Okay? So what I'm going to do walks, because motion is just a big part of this. Just getting your heart rate up is a big thing. I was already at 295, even just now. I've lost 5 pounds already. How did I lose those 5 pounds? Late night snacking. I try not to eat after 8. One thing that I was doing that was bad, I was basically eating 2 meals a day. So I would probably not eat my first meal till about 12. And then, so it's lunch, it's whatever. Then I would eat dinner, and that's whatever. And I'm trying to control that.
At that point, it's not even lunch. At that point, it's not even lunch. That's breakfast that you're eating.
Exactly, because you're breaking your fast. But a lot of
because
people
you're literally breaking your fast at that point.
Exactly. So it's still breakfast. So now what I'm doing, the way I lost the 5 pounds, is I usually get up by 6 or so. I try to make sure I eat something by 7 or 8 o'clock. And I'm not eating anything crazy. It's not bacon, egg, and cheese.
I hear you on that. Where I might push back is on, hey, I don't want to really take too much advice from somebody who's already in shape. And hey, don't just tell me to run on the treadmill. But this is the thing, when you get a good personal trainer, and a personal trainer is just one way to go. I'm not saying you have to do that. Or if you're talking to somebody who's experienced in working out, it's kind of like, do you want to take financial advice from a poor guy? Do you want to take you want to take advice on how to fly from somebody who drives all the time? You see what I'm going there? So getting someone who's walked that path, and you have personal trainers who at one time were overweight as well, and now are in super shape, due to whatever they did. So, there's different ways to look at it too.
All right, so let me clear this up. I'm not crapping on any personal trainers. I'm not crapping on anybody.
You sure did.
I'm cleaning this up. I'm not attacking anybody.
You have attacked everyone.
You done? Are you done? So I'm not attacking anybody who, if you've been in the gym and you have yourself together, I appreciate y'all. And this is the truth too, because Professor G will tell you, when I lose weight, I talk to him a lot about nutrition and things like that. And he'll tell me, look up this person, look up that person. And I'll go. I will get the information from the people who are healthy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, sometimes for a person who's larger, it can be discouraging when they're looking at somebody who looks like Thor, and they're like, all I did was this. And it's like, I can't do that. So it's like, hey, look, this is if I can do 10 push-ups, I'm going to do it. And then tomorrow I'm going to try to do 15. That's what I'm saying. If you're just like, I did 1,000 push-ups,
let me see.
That's not going to help me. That's what I'm saying.
let me go to Miss Minga. Give us some of your feedback. What do you think about his approach?
I could definitely empathize with Mr. GP because I also am a victim of depression through COVID, and I'm on this journey as well. So I understand what it's like to have to go through something and then your weight is being impacted based on what you're going through. And I know a lot of women and a lot of men can empathize with what he's going through. So I'm not here to say that I can give advice because I'm literally on this same journey in which he's on right now. Like I gave birth in 2020 during COVID with, so that in itself was, was something
when you give birth, you get the baby pass. You get the baby pass.
No, I shouldn't. I know, but I don't. I don't feel like myself. But no, either way, I don't feel like myself. But I can understand exactly what he's saying. It's like sometimes you go through things and it impacts your how you look physically. So, and I get it. And I also want to shout out Smooth Ease to know your levels too. It's also extremely important in terms of how you maneuver. So I don't feel like I'm an expert, and I'm just telling you my true sentiment.
Yeah, I just want to take people on this journey and try to, show them like, look, if I can do it, you can do it. There's nothing about me that's different from anybody else. So I hope I can. I may fail. I hope I don't. I'm gonna give it my best shot, and I hope I can inspire some people on the way.
You will not fail, because if you fail, you will get roasted live on this show, and I'm sure it'll go viral. All right, now. So with that said, we're going to be following Mr. GP on his diet journey, and Miss Minga will be chiming in. Take us out of here.
We are back on the Mantastic Experience. Mr. GP, Miss Minga, Professor G, and of course C Square. He's going to come hit us with that financial advice like he always does. C Square, what you got for us this week?
Hey, what's good, everyone? Listen, I was thinking about this and I was responding to some of the questions that came in over the last week or so. And there was a lot of people asking questions around, what is a stock or how do I get into investing? I hear you referencing it from time to time and that type of thing. So I thought I'd really just make it real basic in terms of what is a stock and why investing in stocks and investing in general is a smart thing to do, right? So for starters, a stock is an opportunity to buy into a very small percentage of a company. Now, you may have what it takes to start your own company. And maybe that company that you start will become really successful. Or what we can do, is buy a small piece of a company that's already successful. Maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's Tesla, maybe, whatever the company might be, you can go into the stock market, you can buy a small piece. Those shares might go for, $5 a share, $50 a share, $200 a share, whatever the case may be. And then you might buy 5 shares, 10 shares, 100 shares. You might buy 1 share. But that small piece, if that company you bought into does well, then what you invested in does well. If that company you bought into doesn't do well, then you're going to lose some money.
Let me ask a question. So when you say shares, okay, what exactly is a share? Who am I sharing with?
Good question. So you're sharing with everyone else who bought into the company, right? So there's the founders might have like over 50% of the shares still. And then they create these stocks as an opportunity for people to buy into the company along with them. Right. And so, there are companies that have literally hundreds of millions of investors in the companies. And so it's less important how many people are invested in the company, unless you're going to have like more than 10%. It's more important that, listen, if I put $1,000 into McDonald's stock, which pays a dividend, and I don't know what the dividend is right now. I wasn't looking at that, but I'm just going off the top of my head. But let's say hypothetically, a dividend, which means that every quarter they give you part of the earnings as an investor in their company. That's what dividend is. And maybe that dividend is 4% over the course of a year. So you invested $1,000, you get a dividend, so that's $40 you get every year for being a part owner. And then if McDonald's goes up in value, your $1,000 is worth more. If it goes down in value, your $1,000 is worth a little bit less. But for companies that pay a dividend, that's just steady income you can get. And a lot of times, a lot of companies every year, every 2 years, they increase the size of the dividend. And so a lot of times these people that have held on to stock for a really long time, their dividend check is pretty big. And that's a big reason why they keep the stock in their possession.
Okay, so the question that I have for C Squared is, let's say if someone wanted to invest in stocks, are there any specific stocks that you would suggest those people to invest in? And if they wanted to get into stocks, who should they contact?
So I would say if you're just getting started with stocks, with investing, going the route of buying individual stocks is probably going to be a wilder ride for you. It's better to buy what I would call an index fund or an index exchange traded fund, which is ETF for short. An index fund is a mutual fund. An exchange traded fund is something that's a little bit easier to trade on the stock market. And what I would do is I would do it through opening up your own Robinhood account, your own Fidelity or Charles Schwab account. A lot of these companies have these ways of investing. You can just Google, how do I get started with investing? Pick one of those companies, open up an account, deposit some money, and then start trading. But my recommendation is don't just jump right in and buy individual stocks, because depending on what's going on in the world, depending on what's going on with that company, depending on what's going on in the economy, that can be a wilder ride, and it may discourage you from ever investing again.
C Square, how much money do you need to start really making money in the stock market? Like, am I really saying anything coming into the stock market with $1,000 or $5,000? Like, what am I really doing?
Here's what I'll tell you, man. As a rule of thumb, it's less how much money you have to invest. Mm-hmm. What's more important is that whatever you're investing, you do consistently, right? So let's say you only have, I got $250 to invest. $250 is not going to be a big investment in the stock market. That being said, or in a mutual fund. But if you invested, $75 or $100 a month and just consistently threw it into that account, and then every time you invested it in there, it bought the exact same thing, it bought a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. By the end of the year, you got $1,200 in that account, plus you have the growth if what you were investing in increased in value. And that's the way to really make this thing happen, is just invest a little bit at a time, over time, and just let it grow and grow and grow.
Listen, this stock stuff sounds great and all that, but we know what people really want to hear about. I like to come with those little crypto coins. I like to throw a little in there and try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes somebody might come out with a coin. I just want to get in there and cash out. That's the future right there. So help me get my coins, bro.
Let me add a little bit to that. I had a lot of dudes who told me they made astronomical money with crypto. I don't know what to believe.
They still live in the same crypto. They still live in the same house.
So I'm not the right guy. I'll be honest with you. I'm very biased. Again, I'm very biased against crypto. So I'm not the best person. I'm not the best person to tell you about it a whole lot. Here, let me tell you why. And I'm not trying to steer anybody one way or the other. There's a lot of people, like you said, that have made great money. I haven't been one of them in crypto. And the reason I'm uncomfortable with it is because if you're in the stock market, you're buying into a company, you can research that company, you can understand what that company is selling, you can understand why there's growth potential in the company, and at the end of the day, there is a company underneath what you're investing. And if that company does well, then your investment should do well. Crypto, I don't know what's underneath it. It just seems like it's a huge speculation to me, and that's why I just stayed away as much as I possibly can. It's not that I've never dabbled here and there, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't make sense to me. There's wild gyrations in the price. It just seems like everybody got together before I got in and decided, hey, we finna sell on this date. And then for no rhyme or reason, not because of anything that's going on in the world, no economy, no backdrop, no geopolitical, nothing, the stock just drops 40%. Or not the stock, the the crypto just drops 40% and then just starts climbing back up again. It just seems manipulated, and I'm uncomfortable with it. So I just don't.
I'm never going to object to wild gyrations, but Miss Minga, got anything?
I would just also pose, like, how was your experience, your personal experiences with stocks? Do you feel that you're successful?
So what? Yeah,
that's a good question, C-Square. What are you really telling us here, bro?
I would say that look, I've had some great individual stock performance. I've also had some bad ones. But I think what's more important is that over time, the stock market has done incredibly well, right? So let me give you an example. 16, 17 years ago, there was a financial crisis, hit the global economy, stocks plummeted, bond prices plummeted. But if you had invested right at the bottom of that, the stock market has like gone up by 7 or 8 times, 7 times since then, over 7 times. That means whatever you invest, let's say you put $1,000 in, back in 2008, 2009, then that $1,000 would be worth $7,000 today, and you wouldn't have to do anything. So where I've personally benefited is I throw a little money in my 401k. I get a little match from my employer. I throw a little money in a savings account for myself. When unfortunately I had a close relative pass away, I put some money that was left for the kids into certain accounts. Those accounts have done well over the last few years. Like, it just throw it in there and look away. That's what I would say. Just throw it in there, look away. And if you are doing it consistently, throw a little bit at a time and look away. Because the more you look, then when those gyrations everyone was just calling out, when they start happening, you'll want to pull it back. But over time, the stock market.
Are we talking about money or? What exactly do you do with the profit here, C-Squares? I'm picking up on something else, man. We ain't gonna talk about
maybe I should. I never realized gyrations was one of those words, bro. I mean,
okay.
Gyration, my vocabulary.
Let me throw this. Let me throw a question at Miss Minga. Hey, Miss Minga, someone tells you they're gonna send Bitcoin to your account. What's your reaction?
To be honest with you, I don't know too much about it. Like you said before, there's some people that you said that have made money off of it, and
there
I don't know.
There it is, so fellas. She wouldn't even know what it is. Yeah,
I wouldn't even know. Listen, I got $300 sent to me in my bank account through Zelle today.
What business do you have going on, Miss Minga? Was this?
Yeah, first off, this sounds like this was a surprise. Second off, I mean, do you know who sent it to you?
I didn't, but then I figured out who someone sent it to me by accident, and I send them the money back.
Oh, you're a good person, Miss Minga.
Because Professor G told me to send it back.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess she's not a good person. She was just pressured. Well, you're welcome.
Okay. Right. So
I'm loving it.
I think the main message here is that if you play the stocks right, you can afford to buy some wild gyrations. And next week we'll be back with a crypto specialist so we can understand how to get this.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring in a specialist.
Hey.
This has been a Mantastic Experience. You can contact us at Mantastic Experience on gmail.com. You can find us on IG at the Man EXP. You can find us on Twitter at the Mantastic EXP. You can also find us on TikTok at the Mantastic Experience. For Mr. GP, Professor G, C-Squared, Miss Minga, this has been the Mantastic Experience. Your experience has now ended.